happens so much more often than we think it does. A 22-month-old toddler died just yesterday near Atlanta after he was left in a hot car. Listen to this story. Police say the boy's father was supposed to take him to daycare at 8:30 in the morning. Well, he forgot, and he went to work instead. Justin Ross Harris realized his son was still in the car as he drove home at 4 p.m. Now, witnesses say he frantically pulled into a nearby parking lot. He tried to resuscitate the boy. Harris has now been charged with felony murder and cruelty to children. We need to talk about this. Defense attorney Ebony Williams is here talking about the charges, and so is Jenny Stanley, who joins us as well. Her 6-year-old daughter, Sydney, had died in 2010 after she got trapped in the family car. So, Jenny, we're going to talk about that in a minute. We're so glad that you're here. But, Ebony, I wanted to ask you about these charges because people hear murder, and it just seems like when we know what we know of this man is that he was frantically trying to save his child. Clearly, it seems to be an accident. What do you make of these charges against him?
You're absolutely right, Christy. I think murder is a charge that is too high of a charge in these circumstances because murder requires criminal intent. And nothing about the facts that we know about this case indicate that this father intentionally left his young son in that car. It's something that's tragic and horrible and needs to be dealt with in the law, but more appropriate would be something like involuntary manslaughter, something that indicates recklessness and negligence.
And what do you think is the plausibility that that would be reduced?
I hope that that happens in this case, Christy. Sometimes you see prosecutors, once they get more evidence and they do more investigation, they kind of come to their senses and they do recharge something that's more appropriate. I hope to see that in this case.
All right. Well, Jenny, you were not charged at all.
No,
in your case, obviously. But talk to us about your daughter, Sydney. She was 6 years old. What happened?
She was 6 years old. She went next door to play, asked permission to go, and when the child was not home, or when she finished playing, she came back. And the only thing we can think of is we had been to church that day, and she left a craft in the car, and she did not realize that I had brought it inside. So what we think happened was she got in the car to find the craft, to bring it back in, and the more she looked, the more distraught she became, and just heat overtook her.
So do you know how long she had been in the car before you found her?
We don't know. We don't know how long she was with the friends. We don't know. We really don't know.
Did you find her?
No, my husband and my middle child actually did, my younger son.
Were they looking for her?
Yes. Yes, we couldn't find her, and they were looking for her.
So, I mean, this was a different situation because your daughter obviously got into the car by herself. Was she locked in there, or would she have been able to get out?
That's also something we don't know.
Okay. Well, in other words, they didn't have to unlock the car.
We don't know.
Okay.
What happened was my husband saw her in the fetal position behind the passenger seat, in the back seat. So my husband walked out to look for her because we couldn't find her. Okay. And he was going to drive around the neighborhood. So as he was walking to the car, he unlocked it just out of habit.
Oh.
So we don't know whether it was actually locked or not.
So help us understand. I mean, I've got 3 children. I can't even imagine. What has your healing been like for you?
It's rough. It's a healing every day. I don't know that it'll ever it gets easier, but it's something that we'll live with the rest of our lives. You know, you think of things that I'll never see her graduate from high school. I want to have a sweet 16 party for her. I won't be the mother of the bride.
How about your boys?
They're doing okay. Logan, our oldest, was very close to her, and he's doing very well, actually. He started the first one in the U.S., a Kids in Cars chapter at his high school as a club. So he's very involved. Mason, my younger son, did not do as well. He's doing well now, but it's just you just can't imagine what's missing from the family.
What would you say to this father and other people who have had situations where you can imagine, I mean, the guilt that they feel because they know that this was because of their own negligence in some regard?
Right. What advice would I give?
Yeah, how would you help? Is there anything you think you can help them to say heal that like we wouldn't because we've not been in this situation?
Really, the only thing I can say is don't push yourself. Do it on your own time. Nobody can tell you when you should be over grieving, when you should be at this point or this point. Everybody is individual, and just give yourself time. Don't feel the pressure to be at certain points, and unfortunately, it's going to be something that you struggle with for the rest of your life.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for talking to us. We appreciate it. And I should let you know that Jenny actually was part of, or your story was part of a Georgia PSA.
Correct.
And because she just felt, she said, that need to do something about it. So it's so good to know that you've been able to take some of that and really change it around and do some good for some people. So thank you for sharing your story. And thank you, Ebony, for kind of walking us through the legal aspect of it. Because we'll be obviously keeping our eye on that story. There's a lot more to come there.